Roughly 88 million adults, or 1 in 3 grown-ups, have prediabetes, and many of them don't even know it. In fact, many people have never even heard of prediabetes. Yet this serious health condition can increase your risks of type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and stroke, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Luckily, there are steps you can make today that can help you live a potentially healthier and longer life if you are on the path to diabetes. Hi everyone, my name is Susie Lowry Hall and I'm Enloe's Community Outreach Coordinator. I'm joined today with Buck August. He's a registered dietitian and diabetes educator here at the Medical Center. He's here to shed some light on this topic that affects so many members of our community. But before we get started, please remember that the information that we're about to share is not intended to be medical advice. If you have questions about your health, please make sure you speak with your provider. But as always, please put your questions and comments in the comments field, and we'll do our best to answer them throughout the broadcast. And with that, we are going to get started. All right. So, Buck, thanks again for being here.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So let's go ahead and start with the first thing, and like I mentioned in my intro, which is prediabetes. What is that exactly?
So prediabetes, similarly to any type of diabetes, is just an issue of having too much sugar in your blood. And you would have to have that measured in one way or another to find out if you have too much sugar in your blood, but that's really what it comes down to.
Okay, so what causes it? Prediabetes?
Yeah, absolutely. It can be caused by a couple different things. One, your body might stop making enough insulin. So your body makes insulin, that's a hormone, and its role is to help to get sugar from your blood into your cells. And we want it in our cells because that's where it can get burnt and used for energy. So if you don't make enough insulin, then you might have too much sugar in your blood. It's not getting in your cells, can't get burned up and used. The other thing that can happen is maybe you're making plenty of insulin, but you might develop what they call insulin resistance. So a lot of people have heard about that. Maybe you saw a news article that said something about insulin resistance. Basically, your body makes the insulin that's going to try to get the sugar from your blood into your cells, but your cells start to resist the insulin. So the insulin can't do its job well. Too much sugar in your blood, prediabetes.
Got it. Okay, are there certain people who are more at risk of prediabetes than others?
For sure. If you have diabetes in your family, a family member with type 2 diabetes especially, you'd be much more at risk for prediabetes. Age can play a role. So being over 45, which is very young, but if you're 45 or older, you could be more likely to have diabetes. Inactivity. So if you're not doing much activity, that can really play a role. There are some dietary factors that can play a role too. And if you had gestational diabetes, which is pregnancy diabetes, so if a mom had gestational diabetes, she definitely would be more likely to have prediabetes later on.
Got it. Okay. So what are the signs, or are there signs of prediabetes that people could be aware of?
Yeah, there can be some signs. A lot of them go unrecognized though, or the signs or symptoms might be really mild as well. They say up to 80% of people with prediabetes don't even know they have prediabetes. Some of the signs though, things like being really tired. So if you have all this sugar, going around your body, and if that sugar is in your blood and it's having a hard time getting into your cells, then you're not going to have a lot of energy because the sugar is not getting where it needs to be to give you the energy. So you might be tired, might be kind of weak. Some people get really hungry and thirsty. So, again, you have the sugar coming into your body, but it's staying in your blood. And so your body's saying, hey, I need more sugar because your cells are still starving for the sugar. You might have to urinate a lot. One way the body tries to lower blood sugar is to get us to drink more. So it makes you really thirsty. And if you drink a lot more water, the body can actually help you to excrete some of that extra sugar. Those are some of the main ones. There can be some other things, blurry vision and things like that will crop up sometimes too.
Okay. So it sounds like if people are feeling a little extra tired, thirsty, maybe going to the bathroom more often than they normally do. Okay. So what can people do if they have prediabetes so it doesn't turn into diabetes? Yeah,
there's a few main things that you can do. So one is you can adjust your diet. There's certain foods that really have a tendency to raise our blood sugar a lot, and that's especially refined processed foods. So think about things like sugar, white flour, white bread, white rice, those foods that are really highly refined, those cause our blood sugar to really jump up quickly. So if you're having an issue with like prediabetes, you're having a little bit too much sugar in your blood, if you cut back on some of those foods, that might help your blood sugar not go up as much. So in place of those things, you can choose things like whole grains, nuts and seeds, fruits and vegetables, healthy proteins. So a good balanced diet Again, if you're not putting in as many of the foods that cause the blood sugar to jump up, hopefully your blood sugar won't go up as much. And really watch out for sweet drinks. So things like, as the weather gets warmer, sweet tea or iced coffee with a bunch of sugar in there, or soda. Those things, whenever we drink sugar, it really tends to make that blood sugar spike up. So nutrition plays a big role. And another one is activity. So we talked earlier about, the body's making insulin, trying to get the sugar from your blood into your cells. Your body might be resisting the insulin. Exercise or activity helps your body to overcome that insulin resistance, and it helps to lower your blood sugar. So that can really help too.
Wow, that's amazing. And I just wanted to share with the folks with us today that it is interesting how, like, when someone's pre-diabetic, they can stay there for a while. They can be in this pre-diabetic state by choosing to do these lifestyle changes. Because I know in our family, my husband was diagnosed with pre-diabetes 11 years ago. And so we were really fortunate that we caught it early. He just happened to get his blood work done because he thought he would have high cholesterol because that was his genetic factor. And then what they found was that he also had pre-diabetes. So we found it was a really great blessing. And we started exercising, changed our lifestyle, and we've been basically holding steady since then. So it was really exciting for us. But yeah, it's big news. And it's nice to know that there's things we can do to change it. So thank you. So then let's go ahead then and talk about diabetes. So we just kind of touched on pre-diabetes and what that looks like, how you might be able to identify it, and what we can do to hopefully prevent the onset of diabetes. But let's go ahead and talk about that. And then what are the different types?
Sure. So there's a couple main types of diabetes. One is called type 1 diabetes. They used to call that juvenile diabetes because we would normally see it in children. With type 1 diabetes, your body has either totally stopped making insulin or just making a very small amount of insulin. And these people actually require insulin through like an injection in order to get enough insulin to lower their blood sugar. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease. So the body actually starts to attack itself, and it actually starts to destroy the cells that would make insulin. So that's why you're not making enough insulin with type 1 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is like pre-diabetes all grown up. So it's the same type of things. Maybe your body's not making quite enough insulin, but you're probably still making insulin. And then that insulin resistance. So that's what's causing the blood sugar to go up. And again, the difference between pre-diabetes and type 2 diabetes is how high your blood sugar is getting to be. So there's different cutoff depending on what labs that your doctor would draw.
So how does someone find out? How do they find out where you're at?
Sure. So if you are concerned or if you already have pre-diabetes and you want to see where you're at, your doctor's going to order some lab tests. They might order just a fasting blood sugar or a fasting glucose, they say sometimes. Glucose is the sugar that's in our blood. And if it's less than 100, that's great. If it starts to get up over 100, that's pre-diabetes, and then up higher, it's type 2 diabetes. They might also do what's called a hemoglobin A1C, which is actually it's like an average blood sugar over 2 or 3 months. They're actually able to measure how much sugar is stuck to your hemoglobin, stuck to your red blood cells, which is fascinating to me. But that's a good way to see where your blood sugar's been over the last couple months. So your doctor could order any of those tests.
And that was the one that we got caught in our blood work,
absolutely.
was the A1C. Yeah.
Yep.
That's great. So so what resources are available for folks who want to learn more about this or who think they might be in pre-diabetic or diabetic stage?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of different things out there. One thing that we offer through Enloe is a prediabetes class. You can go online to enloe.org/events and you can sign up for the prediabetes class. That's normally something we do in person, but because of everything that's going on right now, we're going to be offering that over Zoom as well. So there'll be a few seats available in person for people who really want to come in. And for everybody else who wants to be at home and participate, you can do that through Zoom, which is great. You can go to the American Diabetes Association website and find more information. There's a lot of different cookbooks and different things out there. If you go online, be careful though, because there's a lot of good information out there and there's a lot of not so good information out there.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So this has all been really great insight. Appreciate you so much. Is there anything else you want to share with us before we sign off for today?
Yeah, if you're concerned you might have pre-diabetes or diabetes or, just concerned about your health in general, you can start making a lot of these healthy changes we've been talking about because, eating well, getting activity, managing stress, all of those things can help with your blood sugars. And they're just good for all of us, regardless of whether we have prediabetes, diabetes, or not. So eat some real food, eat some fruits and vegetables, eat some whole grains, get out there, go for a walk, whatever it may be, whatever works for you, and do it and start doing it right now.
Absolutely. Thank you. So thanks again for being here. And thanks you guys for joining us. It's so great to be back. We hope that you're taking care. Please join us for our next discussion, where we're going to talk about growing healthy families and babies between parents and their children at our next Facebook discussion. And we hope to see you there. Thank you.